allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Diaz. Covert.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Lees. Here. Newberry.
All right. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have a consent agenda consisting of 5 items. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support. Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to our council and staff reports first.
Thank you, Your Honor. In front of you, you've got the capital projects for the TIF-GO bond. I'd like to set up a special meeting to review those. I was thinking on a Wednesday, we have next week potentially Wednesday, the following week. I don't know if we have enough time to have the discussion prior to council, unless you started earlier, or we could do the 20th. Probably prefer sooner. My discussions with council or bond council, but do any of those dates work? Does next week, the 13th, work?
I'm out of town.
Both 13th and 20th work for me. The 27th and the 3rd do not.
13th and 20th work for me, and so I can do the 27th also.
Did you say the 20th? Does the 20th work for everybody?
Yes.
Are you going to do it before the meeting?
We'd have to
Work session.
start, you want to start earlier than 5:15? And then,
5.
well, no, start at 5:15, or so. Tony, I'm not sure about your work schedule.
Yeah, I can be here.
Okay, and then if we need to continue, we could continue it after the meeting. Okay? Sounds good. So the 20th. Thank you. You have a digital copy of that as well, so you can blow it up. One additional item for discussion on that will be DPW staffing. EDA grant is looking positive. The RISE application goes to DOT at their meeting in April. So that project is coming along nicely. If you saw the artwork in the last update, I'd like to move forward with that. I think I've got somebody that's willing to participate in purchasing that. I'm thinking either 4 and 4 or 2 and 2. And then they can be lit up. They can be green, or they can be red, white, blue, whatever we like. I talked to him about maybe making one of them a WB piece, but we'll continue to work with him. If there's no objections, I plan on proceeding with that. Sounds good. DOT and Deer Avenue. Don't know that we've heard anything more, but they had asked about closing Deer Avenue. Our preference, staff level, was to try to keep it open. Talked about reducing lane width, reducing the speed limit, and no trucks in order to keep Deer Avenue open. Obviously, that's DOT's call. That's a DOT project in the end, but they know that our preference was to keep it open. Traffic flowing, it'd be just narrower lanes. They miscalculated in their design and didn't include the width of the new trail. So we've had 3 interviews out of 4. Our final interview is tomorrow for the SRO officer. Good candidates all, so looking forward to getting that going. Joint meeting is next week, Thursday, 6 o'clock, SCC in the private dining room, same room as we were for our first joint meeting. Probably easiest to go in that main entrance that has the circle drive. Go in from there. We'll be also applying for the DOD grant that's coming out, looking to get that application done for Mount Pleasant Street as well. We're going to be meeting with the Lieutenant Colonel at the plant, see if we can't improve our application. And we had a great communications meeting with the city of Burlington, came up with some good ideas, and we'll have a full agenda for you written down for next week's meeting. But a lot of good ideas came from that meeting. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason?
Just did spring cleanup today, went well. I think we had less items than normal, but it's all finished. Local boring started at Pat Klein Water Main yesterday, and they're moving right along. They're already planning on putting some pipe in the ground, hopefully by Friday. So everything's going well so far over there. Jacob has one more class for a final on Friday, and then he'll be done with his program, and he's got his grade 3 in his wastewater. I think he's been in it for 3 years or so, but he'll be finished up with those. Jonah finished the CDL class that you're required to do to get your CDL, and got a CDL last week, so he's good on that. And then we're gonna start filling the pool here within the next week. Probably start Friday, and then has to sit for a while before we add chemicals, and then just make sure all the pumps run. So following that. So.
Your Honor. Yes. On that last note, regarding the pool, we just want to get the word out that we need lifeguards. We're short, concerned about opening, so encourage folks to apply to be lifeguards at the pool. So we're not in the same position we were last year with lifeguards. So we need several more.
A little busy today. We have next Friday, May 15th, is a Dunkin' Donuts Cop on the Rooftop. We got it back this year. We were not picked last year. It's normally a very well-attended community, really shows up and supports us for that. So if you guys would like to come out on May 15th, it goes to Special Olympics Iowa. I sat on a conference call yesterday, and it's pretty well attended. We do really good. We just really appreciate the community support on that. They come out and do that for us. 6 a.m. to noon is when we'll have officers there. Just have a few state audits coming in. It just must be the year of audits, because we have about 4 of them this year for the police department, so it's going well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything, Kelly?
Not tonight.
Angie?
No, not tonight.
Council members, 20? Okay. No, sir. Andy?
Oh, 2 quick things. Number 1, raffle tickets are still available for the 4th of July here. If you have a group that wants to sell them for a fundraiser, we could definitely use some more groups selling them. Sell for $2 each. $1 goes back to your group. If you're interested, just come up to City Hall. And then number 2, on sponsors, just want to thank our 2 biggest sponsors every year, Deary Brothers, who sponsors our stage entertainment. They're always very willing to come forward. They're hollering at me, hey, we want to get this sponsorship in. I can't thank them enough for their continued sponsorship. And then Two Rivers, again, has approved their donation, who's our largest fireworks sponsor every year. They're obviously in the middle of a name change to First Mid Bank and Trust, but they went ahead and sponsored us even though they're going through that change. So I just want to thank Two Rivers, First Mid, for their continued sponsorship of the event.
Therese?
I just want to shout out with a special recognition for all the nurses on their special today. Today is Nurses Day, and I'm a retired nurse, and I want to give a shout out to all the nurses that are working in between and retired.
I have a couple. First off, I want to say a thanks to the police department for their classes that they've kind of held. I guess it's not really a class, but it is talking about safety on bicycles and other motorized vehicles. And I have seen some of our students stopping at the stop sign and looking both ways instead of just shooting right through. And so I think it's been worthwhile for us to have done that particular item.
We'll keep at it. We're trying.
Yeah. Second thing is, we have a new website up. It's called visitgreaterburlington.com, and I think it's just come in as of this last week, either Thursday or Friday. I would like council members, this is kind of your homework, I think, to go on that site, and if you see spots on the site where we could advertise something for West Burlington, I'd like to know that so Therese can talk to the committee that she's on to maybe make that happen. They're advertising our 4th of July. I'd like to see them advertise our pool as an activity for people to come in and do too. So, but there may be other things. I mean, the site's fairly good size, and it'd be good if other eyes really look through it. So, thank you for that. And with that, we'll go to our citizen inquiries. And I think I'll make a few mentions because I don't believe I've seen most of you before at the city council meeting. First off, be recognized, and then I'll have you come up here. There's a microphone on this side. You can sit down if you'd like to, or you can stand up and the microphone will pick you up. But the reason for the mic is that it goes out on our direct feed, so people who aren't here at the council meeting can actually hear and see you at that. We do want you to state your name and address when you come up. And be brief and limit your comments to three or so minutes if you would. Again, the council's here to receive the information from you. So I'd ask you to, if you're going to be upset, don't be upset at the council. They're here to listen to you, to what your position is on this. Please don't talk to other members of the public while you're talking to the council. And you're supposed to really go through me to talk directly to some of the council members, but you probably don't necessarily want to do that. So if you happen to have a petition of some sort or a protest or whatever that's written, you can give it to me and I'll make sure that it gets into the official record. There is a sign-up sheet here, so it helps our clerk to make sure that your name gets mentioned into the minutes. So if you would, please sign in when you can do it when you finish or you can do it beforehand, whichever. So I'm assuming that some of you have things that you want to say to the council, and I recognize anybody who wants to start. Oh, I might mention that if somebody says something early on, don't add that into your discussion. Just try to present new material to the council so they can make an informed decision. Anybody want to go first? Yeah, just go ahead. If you want, go ahead and sit down.
Okay.
Be fine, and then just tell us name and address.
Okay. My name's Taylor Bowling. Address is 410 Ramsey Street. And I'm here in support of keeping the chickens. I have a petition that I'll give to you, and a little bit that I will say about that as well. So raising chickens or keeping them in the backyard offers numerous benefits for households, ranging from providing a steady supply of fresh, nutritious food to improving sustainability and offering therapeutic companionship. A small flock can transform a household's relationship with food and waste. Some of the key benefits of owning chickens, so it reduces food waste. Chickens are natural recyclers, consuming 150 to 200 kilograms of household kitchen and garden scraps annually. Organic garden fertilizer, natural pest control, educational opportunities for children. I do have 11 chickens right now, and we've raised them from little chicks, and my kids also have a bond with the kids. The chickens, we've done it together, and so they are our pets. And I did have a permit originally for this. I think I sent you all an email at some point, but, so I had the permit, and then the next year I received something in the mail saying that I needed to go around to my neighbors, which I did do, turn that in, and then the following year I didn't get anything in the mail. So I was under the assumption that I didn't have to renew a permit, since I had received something the prior year. Otherwise, I would have definitely sent something in. So that's kind of a little background on, I guess, what happened with that. So now I am, I guess, out of compliance, because it's supposed to be renewed yearly. But anyways, I'll continue on what I have up here real quick. So cost saving and food security, environmental impact. Backyard chickens contribute to a more sustainable localized food system by reducing carbon footprints associated with commercial large-scale poultry farming and reducing landfill volume. Building community and social relationships. You okay, little guy? I do have a couple of trades going on with my neighbors. Provide eggs to a few people in West Burlington, and one that I trade for sourdough every week too. So a couple like trade opportunities that we have going on. Physical health benefits. Obviously, farm fresh eggs are a lot better for us, and they taste better. Not to mention, not to mention just a safe environment for the chickens too. Obviously, a lot of the eggs are coming from factory farming situations, which I do have pictures of. I'm sure you guys have seen all that information, but it can be pretty nasty in those situations. So roughly 60% of all laying hens spend their lives crammed 6 or more birds inside of a cage measuring about the size of a microwave. They also debeak them. So debeaking is a painful procedure whereby the chick's sensitive upper beak is sliced off with a hot blade. Many chicks die with shock during that process. So that's in like a factory farming situation, obviously. There are some specific towns and communities, like a European town, that give free chickens to their town members if they would like to have them, and they have seen great benefit from that. Reducing food waste obviously is a huge factor in that. Food waste contributes more methane emissions to atmosphere than any other landfill material due to its quick decay rate. And yeah, as far as I understand, that there's been some issues in town with some people owning chickens or roosters and they're not supposed to, and it's been a problem, I understand. I do have pictures and videos of my coop. I have a fully enclosed coop inside of a shed, and then an outdoor enclosure for the chickens, and a privacy fence around my property, so that you can't even see the chickens. But I understand that it's been an issue maybe with some other community members, and so I ask that maybe coming up with some other regulations that wouldn't prohibit people that do want to responsibly keep chickens in the community, besides the 2-acre lot, because that would, no one in town would be able to have chickens. So as far as permission from the other neighbors, or maybe just some other ideas instead of the 2-acre lot that would allow people to still have chickens responsibly. That's all I got. Thanks for listening.
Very much. Next.
Name and your address. Just tell them your name. Okay. You want to tell them? Okay, you don't have to.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, my name is Susan Pratt. I live at 401 Ballard Street, West Burlington. I had talked about getting chickens several years ago, and I was told I couldn't, so I didn't. But I would have if I could have. There is so many, I walk around town with my dog, and I hear click, click, click all over. So I'm thinking, how come they can have chickens and I can't? So I don't know if if you need to get a permit, or if there's some rules and regulations that the council could come up with as far as how many. They really don't produce much noise, not as much as some of the dogs in town. And we have a terrible cat problem. So that was just my concern is, I was afraid I'd get my chickens and name them, then you could tell me that I couldn't have them anymore, and I would be horrified. So that's my main concern about the chickens. I do have one question to the parks. At that Pat Klein, was that supposed to be a butterfly garden that never produced?
Yeah, well, all the plants just got dug back out and kind of revamped. But,
Okay, so
yeah.
you're still going to try it?
Yeah, just within the last week, it's all been redone.
Okay,
So-
yeah, just wondered.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
I am Melody Hoshak, and I live at 702 Ramsey Street. And I wanted to just touch on the fact that Taylor said about community, and that's how we got to know each other, because I live at 702 and she lives in the 300 block, but she offered eggs. And we took her up on it, and we've been happily bartering for eggs with her for quite a couple of years now, and really just would like to keep it that way. So, thank you.
My name is Joel Mellinger. This is my daughter, Phoenix Mellinger. She wanted to come up and sit with me. I would just like to say that I shared these two daughters with Taylor. We both live here in West Burlington. And a couple years ago, when she decided that she wanted to attempt at keeping chickens, she talked to me about it, asked for my support. She did go through, all of the hoops and red tape that the city council asked her to do. You guys provided her a permit. We did everything right. We provided our plans. I drew up the structure that I plan to build. We did get permission, and then I went over and I helped. I built the inside enclosure for her. My daughters helped. It was a good experience for us just in that aspect. A lot of time, we spent a lot of time, a lot of money in everything that we did with that. So since then, she got the chickens, and we've watched the experiences that it's given our daughters. It's taught them self-sustainability. It's taught them work ethic. It's taught them, all kinds of things. They get up in the morning before school. They go and collect eggs. They help feed and water these chickens. They help clean up. They've named these chickens. They have a real bond and relationship with these chickens. So, if we were to decide to, remove these chickens, it would be taking a lot away from my kids. Not to mention food. It's a healthy source of protein. most mornings, they get up, they have 2 to 3 eggs before school. So it's something that I believe, they're not going to get these experiences from anywhere else. School's great, but it's not going to teach them this. It's not going to teach them to care for another living being. It's not, this provides an amazing experience for them. And with that being said, I would ask you to consider to allow us to keep these chickens. Phoenix, you want to say something? No? Okay. That's all I got. Thank you.
Can I just get your address? I'm sorry. Your address.
Oh, 505 West there.
Anybody else?
Don't be shy, here's your chance.
My name is Merrick Patayak. I live at 318 Prairie Street. I really didn't plan on speaking today, but if we're not going to have more speakers, I'm going to speak up. I have a couple neighbors that have chickens. They've had them for a few years. We don't have any problems with them. I don't see what the big problem with is having them in the community. If we have any problem right now, it's feral cats. So, I mean, I just think just live and let live. Thank you.
Cade Wilkerson, 322 Summer Street. I started getting into chickens last year and looked up the laws of it in our city and learned that I would have to go through getting a permit, which I'm sure would be a bunch of hurdles, which I was not willing to do, so I keep them out past Beaverdale at my dad's property. However, that is out in the country, and it brings a lot of predators. I've lost a pretty good deal of chickens, and it would be very helpful if we could just keep them in town. Thank you.
My name is Braden Murphy, and I live at 205 Swan Street. My personal opinion on the whole proposed ordinance is it is extremely restrictive in what is supposed to be a free country. How are we supposed to be able to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Well, chickens is what makes me happy. You guys are trying to make it to where nowhere in town can have chickens in a residential area, despite the fact proven by the many people who've spoken before me who have chickens. I have chickens. I walked up and down Swan Street, and out of the dozen people that I talked to, one person said that they wanted this new ordinance. He said, and I quote, "If you want chickens, move out to the country." He's clearly the minority out of the people that I spoke to. I also started a petition on change.org. Within the 3 or 4 days that's been up, there's 25 signatures on there opposing the new ordinance here in West Burlington. I don't know if those are local residents. I don't know where they live. But that just, in my opinion, further proves that people as a whole don't care if you have chickens, even if you live in town. Like the gentleman said, live and let live. Leave people alone. If they're not hurting anything, let them be. Don't bother them until you get a complaint. How many people in town have chickens that you've never received a complaint about that you don't even know about?
Hello, my name's Emily D. Wald, 417 Leffler Street. I live next to catty corner from Taylor, and I have never had an issue hearing her chickens or waking me up or causing any disturbance whatsoever. I think the biggest issue that we have in our neighborhood is the 30 or 40 stray cats that are running around the yard, peeing and pooping in people's yard. Something needs to be done about it. I've tried talking to the city about it. We can't put any of our own traps out, but the city doesn't want to do anything, so something needs to be done. Either the city needs to start trapping them and spaying and neutering them or something, because I think that's more of a problem and an issue right now than the chickens that we barely have any issues with. So I think that needs to be a priority right now. So thank you.
I 100% agree with her. So I 100% agree with her. Jesse, you live in the 300 block of Swan Street. I don't know how.
Can you come back up to the, can you come back up to the speaker, please?
It's bad. It's ridiculous.
Okay, I'm not writing that down.
Oh, okay. That's what salt. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your statements. Okay. Thank you. They say that it's tougher to talk in front of a group than anything that most people want to do. So I do appreciate the fact that you come up and spoke out in favor of this. Thank you. But we will go on with our council meeting at this point. And if you're welcome to stay if you want to. If you don't, you've given your information to the council members, and I'm sure they will make considerations with that. There is this reading of the ordinance. There will be another one 2 weeks from today, and that would be the final one if there is an approval this time. You're certainly welcome to come back if you'd like to for that third reading. Okay. With that, I need to open up a public hearing on our budget amendment for the fiscal year 2025-2026. Have anybody who wants to speak on the budget amendment number 1 for this fiscal year? Still here. Just like feedback. Pull mine down a little bit.
Is that microphone hot? Is that where we're?
It is hot. It's very loud.
Typical too.
Does that one have the button on it? Thank you.
He's going back to turn it down.
Okay.
Back.
And that might be all it is. It's just too high. Maybe. Seeing no other people speaking about the budget amendment for this year, I will close the public hearing. We have new business. Our first item of business is to consider a resolution accepting the proposed budget amendment for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Motion approved.
Second. Motion and second. Any discussion on this? It's all things that we've spent money on. So.
Any questions from the memo? Each year we do a budget amendment just to account for things that happen throughout the year. You want to make sure each of your functions do not go over for audit purposes. These are good estimates, but with a little leeway in there to ensure that we don't go over. But, and then at the end of the fiscal year, we'll have a final number. But we do this each year on an annual basis to account for grants on the revenue side and other revenues that come in, and expenditure changes. For example, if we had hired the SRO and started the SRO this year, that would have been in the budget.
Well, if not, then I'll call for a roll call vote.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll take a look at the second reading of an ordinance adopting regulations for the keeping of chickens on residential property.
Motion approved.
Can I say something?
Let's wait until we get to discussion on that, so I need a second.
I'll second.
At that point, yes, I'll take discussion items.
First of all, I do appreciate everybody that came forward and talked. That's an important process of why we're a government and that we're here to listen to people and our citizens in our community. I feel it's very important. But I felt there was a little bit of misinformation, not just with the chickens, but say with the cats. I've been hearing this about the cats, and when I think it was Emily from 417 Luther Street that said that she wasn't allowed to put a trap out. That's incorrect. They can put live traps out. The police have already responded to live traps. I myself have done it, and we've taken the animal, the cat that they've caught, and taken over to the shelter if they had room for it. So hopefully we can make contact with her later on and let her know that she can do that. I'm interested in the petition. I mean, we had 2 different petitions. I think they're important. And I know if we pass it tonight, we still have 2 weeks, and I still like to see the petition and know how many people sign the petition, and if there are from our community, you know. So it appears that we only had one person out of the group that actually truly had chickens that went through the process. If you correct me if I'm wrong on that, with all the people that spoke.
2 of them said they had chickens. One of them went through the process.
Right. 2 of them said they had chickens, but only one went through the process.
But that other individual didn't have chickens in town and decided to keep
Yeah, he found himself in the country. And I understand that, but at one time, okay, so she had not renewed the petition because, and that was the one.
Miscommunication, I know on that, yeah.
And I don't know if this is just a thought process. There's a grand, so I understand the growing attached to, even, that's why my wife won't even give us a cow out there where we're at, because she would get attached to the cow even though it's not like that. So we got these 3 little girls with these chickens, and the lifespan of a chicken, I think, is what, 4 or 5 years? I don't really know for sure. I was thinking of grandfather him for just that select person who did that just for those chickens until they passed. I just have thought that, then maybe we can discuss it for later on. But anyhow, that's what my thought process was.
Why did it was before my time that I came in, why did the chicken conversation start a year ago or a year and a half ago? I mean, was there an issue that was?
Well, I think part of it was the problem of people not applying like they're supposed to have permission to have the chickens. And we were, in certain areas, getting more chickens than we would have normally allowed for the size of the lot they had on. So I think that's where that started now.
Part 2 of that.
What?
Sorry.
Is that correct?
And then part 2 is regulation. If we're going to have or allow chickens, there should be some basic regulations that have to be followed that we can enforce. Cleanliness, size, distance from neighbors, etc. And we reviewed those as part of the zoning process as well. And today we're going a little different direction, and limiting the location where they can currently be based on current council opinion.
I do, you know,
Recommendation.
to add to that, Greg, we have the protection of individual rights, but we also have the standards within our community and in our small community here. And we got houses that, you know, we did have some complaints, and they said we never had complaints. We have had complaints. And some of those complaints was the actual chickens, and some of the complaints were feeling like the neighbors, they had to sign the form because they didn't want to be a bad neighbor. And they didn't want that interest drawn on them. And I feel that we still have to, you know, also protect those people's individual rights. Because they're trying to be, even if they got approached today, but they still sign the form even though they don't want the chickens there because they don't want attention drawn themselves and being a bad neighbor. So I feel like, yeah, we need to protect those people too. And that's just my thoughts.
Well, I think we do have some lots within the city that are 2 acres, right? I mean, we would have some places that.
Mount Pleasant here.
Mount Pleasant here.
Okay. And then one gentleman who said he had chickens. Those chickens arrived, we believe, today, if not yesterday, but we believe they arrived today.
I don't think Mount Pleasant and Gear are considered R2, are they? They're not residential?
It's a residential lot, larger than 2 acres. In
Mount Pleasant
in an
Street?
industrial.
Yeah, it's an industrial.
In an industrial area.
Like my grandparents'
Zoned
house.
industrial.
That's, yeah.
But it's industrial?
Zoned industrial.
That one's residential that I'm talking about. It's almost 3 acres.
It's residential property, but it's zoned.
Pleasant,
It's-
west of Johnny's, the next house west of Johnny's.
It's just in a I2 zoning district.
But the I-2 is across the street.
No, it's along there.
I think it's all industrial.
Well, then like, I hate to name people's names, but Jern's North on Gear, which is one we had approved 3-4 years ago.
That is residential. That was, I believe, rezoned, that lot.
Kelly, am I correct that currently this time there's nobody that actually has a correct permit for chickens in our community?
Right.
There's 2 permits that would have likely been renewed, active permits that likely would have been. And
started.
If the process was still in place. We
There
just put
was
everything
an
on.
active permit that was submitted in February.
Right, I remember that
And we
one.
didn't see it until April, because they were holding off on it.
Right.
So all these years, I guess people didn't realize that they were able to have chickens with a permit. And now all of a sudden, we're gonna take that away because we don't want chickens in the residential area where there have been chickens in the residential area. I know there have been a few people that have had roosters, and that's not eligible for West Burlington. But I think for us to go from permitting chickens, and they had to go around and visit their neighbors to make sure that it was okay with the neighbors if they had chickens. And they had to have a coop, they had to have it fenced in to protect the chickens and all of that stuff, all under this neat little category that said permit. Now, because we have a few people that don't think chickens belong in the city, we're gonna have this and absolutely crush any possibility of having chickens in a residential area. I think we've gone from allowability with regulations to an absolute zero. And I'm not one of those people that will do that. If they're paying taxes and they have their property and they go through the permit process and they do everything to have the chickens, and I realize there are some lots in the old town that are very small. And if we make it so that there's just so many chickens per that lot, so that it's safe for the chickens, I'm not against them having chickens. If we have a complaint, then we go and investigate, and we give them a notice and say, hey, this neighbor's complained about the smell. And then they have like 30 days, it's just like any other little thing that we go through, like the fella down on, the fellow that's the problem. I mean, it's taken 5 months to get anything done with him. I think this is just, it's ludicrous in my opinion, to take it away and give them nothing. And I'll reiterate again, I have talked to 5 or 6 different real estate agents from different companies here in town. And I asked each and every one of them if they were not able to sell a house because there were chickens next door to the property they were selling. And they had no problem, nobody had a problem with that. And if you consider southeast Iowa, we are a rural community. We are not an urban community. We are rural. And I think we should have the option of raising chickens. I don't think there's going to be 500 residents that come storming through the door for permits for chickens because it takes a lot of time, money, and energy. Now, if people put that time, money, and energy in the cat situation, we wouldn't be where we're at with them. There's a lot of responsible owners, and I should have credit to take care of their chickens. And if they falter, then we deal with it. That's just my opinion.
I'll just make 2 points. I had a great economics professor. It was you, Mr. Mayor. We've been roughly 50-50 on this from council and from input. We obviously had a lot here tonight. Before that, it would really skew the other direction, so I'm just going to call it about 50-50. And when you take 50% of the demand away from somebody that wants to buy a house, it lowers the price of the house, is what you talk about. If you lower demand without affecting supply. So it's not that you have trouble selling a house, it's that the home value goes down because you decrease demand. Also, the general practice in West Burlington has not been to allow chickens in the middle of town. We had that there for special use cases, and that's how it's been used for homestead and areas out north of town. And only there 2 years ago did that start with the one young lady that was here tonight where we started having chickens in the middle of town. Now, I feel for them too. I don't want to take those chickens away. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that without code. We need to treat everybody the same and pass code that's fair for everybody, which is the same thing I've said for 2 years when the votes were the other way. So I'm not for chickens, have never been, have always voted against them. My vote's not changing. I don't think they belong in town, but I do think they belong without having to go before council for a special permit that they bring up every year on places like Homestead and out north of Gear. Why I think we need this code. It also helps us with those that have problem issues, so we can take care of the roosters and the illegal ones.
Well, we had an ordinance presented to us from Clinton that our city attorney wrote for the city of Clinton, and they allowed chickens, and I think Clinton's just a wee bit bigger than we are. And I think we should probably look at that and see what applies for us here instead of just absolutely saying no chickens.
Other council members? No? Okay. Well, at this point, then I'll call for a roll call vote on this.
Crowner,
Aye.
Lees,
No.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Resolution, or second reading passes. Number 3, consider the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 55 concerning impoundment of animals running at large, abused, or neglected.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and second.
I want to say off the bat, I don't know that I love all this language yet. I just want to get to discussion.
Okay.
City attorney drafted this. This is, we have a second first.
Yes, I did.
Neither city has this language in the city code. This will allow us to charge for those animals, charge the pet owner that is not charged for the daily fee at the shelter. This will allow us to recover our cost when we're charged those fees on the back end. So that's basically what this is intended to do, is to help the city recover its cost for those pet owners that aren't paying the shelter cost at the animal shelter. There are some fees that they do pay, but they're not paying the daily fee. And this would allow us to recover that cost.
The one thought I had reading this is, do we need to build in some kind of way where it's not, maybe this is made like you get 1 or 2 free, or from a legal standpoint doesn't need every single time, but I want to make sure that we take care of the ones that are the kind of the problem animals that get out, 20 times a year.
Well, the problem would go away if the shelter would charge the entire fee to the pet owner, and that's not been the case. This would allow us to charge it in those cases. Hopefully, when we negotiated an agreement with the shelter, assuming the agreement with Burlington moves forward for them to turn that shelter over to pass it off to the animal shelter, we will make individual contracts with that entity. And one of the things I would suggest we include in there is that they charge for those costs. But if they can't recover those costs, this gives us a way to go back on those individuals that aren't paying for their pets, that they should be responsible for, not you and I, citizens.
So are we gonna send them a bill for the dog, or are we gonna put it on their tax roll? How are we gonna collect this money?
It'd be a simple infraction, $50 per day, that can be issued or ticketed by either police or staff.
This would be awesome encouragement, I think, if people would put identification on their pet, because most officers would rather, because that's who makes normally first contact, is the officers. They would rather take that pet to the home, and then instead of taking that pet to a shelter. But at the same time, why should the citizens, even though it's an honest mistake that maybe, that sometimes the pets get loose, that all the pets get loose once in a while, not because you just intentionally let them loose, but someone still has to pay for that, and why should the rest of the community have to pay for, your pet being loose? It's just one of those things. It's my fault. I have to pay the fee, because I can't expect everybody else to pay my fee for my pet being loose.
Now, for dog at large, I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse, but the police department does give them, one chance or so, if it hasn't been a problem pet before they issue a citation.
Yes, that's correct. We try to give warnings, it's more on the repeat dogs. Just the biggest issue is not getting reimbursed. When we have pets over there for several days, we as a city get charged for that, and we're out of that money. Every time, I would like to start charging the owners that feed the outside cats is where the problem is. They feed the outside cats, and that's considered, if you're feeding the cats, you're going to be responsible for those cats.
And the fee is $35 a day, isn't it, from the shelter?
I'm sorry?
It is $35 a day, isn't it?
30, I believe it's $30 a day.
$30 a day?
Yeah.
Per pet. So,
per pet.
Again, if a cat has 5 kittens, our city's paying for 6.
Yes.
For every day. And I think it's just a reasonable expectation. But I've seen some of the officers, and when you were asking that, Greg, that I've actually seen some officers helping the citizens reinforce their kennel to make sure that the pet doesn't get back out,
It's off topic, but just regarding the feral cat issue, it's a nationwide problem. It's a problem in West Burlington, it's a problem all across the state. I've talked to the University of Iowa, excuse me, Iowa State University, and their veterinary school. One of their veterinary surgeons slash professors has dealt with this issue in North Carolina, where she worked and lived previously. Has a lot of knowledge in the field, and has agreed to come and get a group of folks around the table and have a discussion about how we can address the issue. It's going to take volunteers. It's going to take volunteers from veterinary volunteers as well. She's willing to consider bringing students for 2 weeks. If some basic costs are covered, where they could do multiple procedures while they're here, learn. They have to work under a licensed professional, of course. So she's got a wealth of information, and we just need to coordinate a time and date to get her to come to the area and get a group of interested folks together that can talk about the subject and how we can move forward in addressing it.
I would volunteer, Greg, if you need to do that and help out.
You have that on our discussion list with Burlington?
Cats?
Yeah. I know last time we talked about this, it was kind of mentioned as this is more of a regional issue. Like if we fix our issue, but they don't next door,
We
we'll kind of still have a problem.
we need to do both. And my intention would be to include Burlington in that discussion as well.
Well, we talked about it at that joint meeting. So this infraction, is that cost going to increase for each occurrence for the dogs that are always on the loose? Or is it just going to be a straight $50?
It's a standard fee that's charged for each day. It's higher than their rate to encourage them to pay the shelter, not for us not to have to incur additional costs to enforce the fine.
Do you think you need to add, it says $50 per day of the animal. Do we need to say per animal?
That's that last sentence.
Either way, whatever you prefer, it makes a difference. If you want to clarify it, per day, per animal.
I think that'd be useful because sometimes.
Per animal, per day, it's the animal.
Because
You
you
can have animals twice.
Dogs that may be together.
I really don't mind being lenient on this, but I also think we do need to have something in place for the several problem ones that are there consistently throughout the year.
Well, and then the other flip side of the coin is like, what if people don't want to come again? And if it costs them $200, they may not go on the dog.
The shelter already has that problem when someone wants to explain to us when they don't want to pay the fee. They leave the pet there. But the city still incurs that cost though.
Yep.
So
But
if they
then,
don't,
do they have like a 2-week thing, and if then nobody comes and gets them, then they're part of the shelter
Yeah, right.
itself, and then I don't think we would pay after that.
Right, but I agree, if they refuse to pay the shelter, I mean, they're still gonna have to deal with this then, you know?
And they'd be better off paying the shelter than
$30 and that's good per day.
Yeah, so if they pay the shelter, they wouldn't get the $50 a day.
Right.
Right, okay.
And it'd be cheaper for them as
Right.
well. And that may be I understand their concern, people not picking up their pets. And maybe that would be the case in my experience where I've had worked with the Humane Society and had the ACO. Most people want to pick up their pets. There are those that do not, and those costs are covered in some fashion, but the vast majority do pick up their pets, just in past experience.
Good thing they don't go by size, because I hope none of my horses ever get loose.
No further discussion, I'll call for a roll call.
Lees,
Aye.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Number 4, consider the first reading of an ordinance amending section 50.063 of the city code concerning abatement of nuisance.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion.
Happy to answer any questions. I heard most of the appeals at present. This one is, and the non-ones. Discussed switching it out.
Any concerns?
Myself?
Yep.
No. I'm used to doing it.
No discussion? Call for a roll call, please.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5. Consider entering into a professional services agreement with Snyder and Associates for engineering services related to the Pat Klein Water Main Replacement Project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
Our intent is to limit this as much as possible, have them on site perhaps once a week, and or only as needed, or questions arise. Chase will be out there, Troy. Cole has grade 2? Grade 1.
This is grade 2, but
Grade 2.
mostly Troy and myself will be out there.
Right. Our goal is to keep the cost down. This is what we did with the last project.
Okay. No further discussion. Call for a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, consider a resolution accepting the final plat for the Fife Heritage Farms subdivision.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion?
Was it Andy? I'm sorry. Was that?
Second.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I just had one question, looking at that plat, the south 49-ish acres. Am I seeing that right, that it's got a little corner piece on it that leads out to the road?
Yes, and it looks really little there, but it does meet the minimum lot width requirements.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Diaz. Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Number 7, consider an order accepting acknowledgement/settlement agreement from MK Mini Mart concerning a February 2026 tobacco compliance violation.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
This is simply a process that was established, I'm not sure exactly when, but several years back. It allows the city to collect the fine rather than the AG's office.
I don't need a roll call, so voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consider accepting Rod Messler's retirement, promoting Jacob Fritz to WWTP Utility Coordinator, and approval to advertise Assistant Public Works Director position.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is what Jacob's been to school for the last 3 years. He has a grade 3, so he can operate the plant. Rod's, I think his final days sometime in August, but after next week, he's pretty much using his vacation, and he's out of here. So, and
How many years has Rod been with us now?
I was just thinking about that. I knew it about a month ago, 20-some. Well,
Will we have a little get-together for him to thank him?
yeah, we haven't discussed anything, but I'm sure we will have something, so.
Okay.
Yes, so this was our apprenticeship program. Paul and Jacob was our apprentice that was hired to learn the role and take over, obtain a grade 3, which is not an easy thing to hire for. So we're lucky to have that, and we received a partial grant for that position as well. Angie got another small one here just recently to cover some of our costs. It worked well, and we'll have a great operator in place. There's lots of learning, but I think they did a great job.
Okay.
I can remember those being tough budget discussions at first about hiring an extra person at the time and two back when we needed one, and that planning really worked out. So everybody that was involved, I think, did a good job planning that handover and getting that education in place when we need it.
Hiring a grade 3 operator is very difficult, challenging.
It's kind of a crappy job, but
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, consider a resolution accepting the Mall Road overlay project and payment to Norris Asphalt.
motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on this?
Such a nice one. I
Nice.
feel like I have to do Mario Kart anymore dodging the properties. It's so nice.
Number of compliments have come into the city on that one too.
And I'm glad we did it all at once rather than segments.
I think it not only helps that area of the city too, but I think it helps make that property more marketable. I mean, it's just an overall improvement. So, good thing we did.
Roll call, please.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye.
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 10, consider a quote from Land and Water Vegetation Control for an annual weed spraying.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Discussion?
Now, will they come back if the weed grows back up?
Oh, pretty much everything they do, it normally stays. What they use normally works for most of the year, but if something comes back, they'll come back and touch it up. Yep. He normally calls me, I don't know, 2 or 3 months after he does it, to make sure there's nothing come back up, and if there is, he'll come back and hit it, so.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, consider a quote from Denko Crack Sealing for 2026.
Motion approved.
Any discussion on this one?
The reason I have it on there is they're gonna be doing the county, roads in June. So he said in order to get this price, they need to be, already have their equipment in this area. So it'll be cheaper if we get it done in June, and they're gonna wait to bill till next year, so, or after July 1st.
That's good. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on that one. Number 12, consider the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 75 of the City Code concerning special stops.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion on this one?
Have we had issues?
Yes,
You or someone else?
somebody else. It's a stop sign back here. We got the stop sign coming that direction, southbound, but there's not one coming northbound. And there, in the last few weeks, there's been a few instances where cars been flying up and down the alley, and somebody walking out of City Hall out of the alley about got hit by the vehicle. So it's just good pedestrian crossing back there. All the city officials use it. Police, you know, a lot of us use that, and it just would make sense to get another stop sign put up there.
Any other discussion? If not, call for a roll call.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Tejas.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. Final item, consider the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 79 of the City Code concerning no parking zones.
Motion to approve.
Second.
This would be out on Lane Drive. There's been, with the new apartment complex, there's been vehicles parking on both sides of the road, and we don't have any no parking signs out there. So it's been creating quite a mess for regular traffic to get down there, let alone an emergency vehicle. And then the portion on Houston Street just going all the way, the rest away from South Gear to the west down the Lane Drive. We're just restricting parking on one side of the road there, so it just helped kind of alleviate some congestion down there in the evenings.
It's one of my favorite parts of traveling around our town, because it's so easy when everybody's always parked on one side.
Yep.
And I go show houses in Burlington, and sometimes I'm weaving and dodging in between, and
Because they have parking on both sides.
yeah, that in some places and not in some, so.
It's just been an issue here after they finished up all the buildings out there, and I don't know, they don't have enough parking, off-street parking for those apartments, not for sure, but it's just congestion Lane Drive.
Roll call, please.
Covert.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Diaz.
Aye.
We've come to the end of our information. Any citizen inquiries about future items?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to say, I don't think we got a chance to thank our fire crew today, and saw tons of them heading to that fire, and then all the other surrounding communities heading down here as well. So Jesse, please thank everybody for us.
It was, I had New London come over and assist our city if we had anything, so.
What was our response time again on that, Chief?
We were the first truck there, besides Fire Command.
I was sitting in my office and saw Jesse light up first, heading towards the fire department, and then the first truck after that couldn't have been, I don't know, 45 seconds, a minute. I mean, it was really quick. So they were getting there pretty quick.
We had 3 on the first truck.
Just out of curiosity, where was you at when the call came out?
Out just a little west of Gear.
So if you would have had the truck that you were talking about with your gear in it,
That case, I probably would have went to the station. It's more important to get a truck with water on it than my pickup coming, but
as the command?
yeah. So.
The only thing I didn't see move was the brush fire
Thank you
truck.
for your
No.
input on the chickens. It made sense to me.
Yeah, I tried.
How many total volunteers got out there?
West Burlington, I think, I'll have to check, I think we had 9, Mediapolis had 4, I believe, and Danville had about 4 that came over. That's that auto aid agreement that we have in the county. So, so we had that many, and then I'm not for sure of how many New London firefighters came over and backfilled our station, but I would imagine they probably had 4 or 5 here to assist if we need anything else.
So did something, the battery or?
Negative. It's still under investigation, but it looks like it was human error.
Was the total loss or?
A good portion of the building is lost. The front end where the weight room is, where you know, where the offices, I think those are going to be reusable, but there's a good portion of the warehouse that'll have to be rebuilt.
But there was no injuries to?
No injuries to the personnel there, no injuries to the fire, police that assisted, so, yeah.
Just one item, Greg, Brad had talked to me about the problems with some of the microphones causing the feedback. They're really old. Might be wise for us to replace those at some point here.
That would be in a minute.
Didn't we budget to get new microphones at some point?
No, no,
Oh,
No.
nope.
I'll just bring my megaphone.
Well, maybe we could get by with just a couple new ones or whatever.
I think he said once, when we come in, he kind of has them set where they should stay
Yes.
to keep the feedback, so I don't like it right in my,
I don't know
I'm
if it
probably
picks
the
up
one
like
that
all
set this
year.
one off, but
We'll take a look.
The way we
But I know he did say that one of them is bad. That's one down at this side of the meeting room.
Well, they can have mine.
We'll take a look.
Oh, no, we'd love to hear you talk.
Well, anyway, at this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.